Good afternoon, everybody. Shavua Tov, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Rolene Marks, and we bring you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday, right here on this platform. And in case you want to watch it on YouTube, and we're certainly hoping you do, and subscribing to our channel, we are at the Israel Brief, and all you have to do is click on the big red subscribe button, because it really helps us get Israel's side of the story, all those stories you will never hear in the mainstream media, out to the masses. But let's look at the top stories, and as we do every day, we lead with Israel and the COVID-19 crisis, and I for one cannot wait for the day where we speak about something else as our top story. But let's take a look at what is happening, and a lot of protests taking place over the weekend and today due to the handling of stipends and economic recovery for small businesses and self-owned businesses. Many feel that they are losing their income as a result of having to be closed because of lockdowns and the COVID-19 virus. Many of these are restaurant owners who say that their restaurants simply cannot survive the restrictions and the lockdowns. And also many people complaining that the monthly stipends promised are too slow in coming or haven't come at all. On Saturday night, at least 7,000 people took to Kikar Rabin Square in the center of Tel Aviv to protest the economic situation, and there are great fears that in 2 weeks' time we could see a significant spike in the amount of people infected. In fact, one high-ranking health official said that he would recommend that Israel goes into mandatory 2-week lockdown. However, this would direly affect our economy, which is really trying to revive itself after the mandatory lockdowns over the last several months. And a lot of blame has been apportioned at the Netanyahu government, some people going so far as to say the way that he has handled this has not been as good as the first time round, and could this be the start of the end of Prime Minister Netanyahu's current government? And I know that many Israelis are hoping we will not see a situation where we have to go to another election. We've already had 3 of those. And elements within the government saying that Israelis, instead of blaming the government, should look at their own behavior and be more responsible when it comes to wearing masks and not gather in huge numbers. So a lot of flared tempers all around, but one thing that is fascinating is the debate around whether or not the gyms and pools should have been closed. In fact, there is not enough data to support this decision. Apparently only 35 people were infected with coronavirus as a result of going to the gym. And I must say that many of us would welcome a situation where gyms are open, because for that brief amount of time it takes us away from the constant stress and emotional stress of COVID-19. So let's look at the numbers, and we can see why there is so much apportioning of blame. And even though the numbers are still uncomfortably high, they are down slightly than the massive peaks we saw last week. So from the start of the COVID-19 virus, Israel has seen 38,670 people infected with 362 fatalities. At the moment, 19,300 people are infected, 151 of them in serious condition, and 19,008 have made full recoveries. Our next story is especially for many of our Australian viewers. It's a story that I know you've all been following very, very closely, and that is of Malka Leifer. Yesterday, her appeal to delay extradition was rejected by Israel's Supreme Court. Leifer is wanted in Australia on 74 counts of sexual abuse, and she was recently voted in the Supreme Court fit to stand trial. Her defense team tried to put forward the argument that she was not mentally fit to stand trial. However, it has been decided that she is fit, she should stand trial, and she should be extradited as soon as possible. And she is due in court for a hearing on the 16th of July, but it is unclear in the media if that hearing will be based in Israel or in Australia, given the current travel circumstances. And our final story for the day is one that you don't often hear, and that is of a high-ranking Hamas official who has, according to a Saudi daily media, he has defected from the Gaza Strip into Israel after he was alleged caught collaborating or spying with the Israelis. He was helped into Israel by the Israelis, and he is allegedly one of 16 expected collaborators. Now, he's the lucky one, and he has made a safe entry into Israel, and apparently he has been working with Israeli security officials since 2009. But there are 16 other suspected collaborators, and unfortunately the penalty for that in the Gaza Strip is torture and eventual execution. Those are the top stories making headlines today, but don't forget, we always keep you up to date and on top of things happening around the world, and we do this with our website as well. So if you're looking for something interesting to read, you can read all about a story we spoke about last week, which is Michael Ben Zikri, his incredible rescue of a Bedouin family, and the amount of healing that he has brought, albeit paying with his life. You can read that. That's up on our website. And check out our Facebook page for news that you wouldn't see in the Arab media, but don't worry, it is our pleasure and our privilege to bring you news that you might not hear in the mainstream media. That's on our Facebook page. And while you're there, give us a like and a follow. We're heading to our next target of 2,000 likes and follows, and we want you to be a part of that. And don't forget our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. Click on the big red subscribe button, and if that wasn't enough, we are also on Twitter. Look for us at Lay of the Land. Our logo looks something like that, and give us a follow. So with today's edition of the Israel Brief and a whole lot of social media updates, I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and we'll speak again tomorrow.